I've got big news for you. Gary Gensler, scumbag regulator Gary Gensler, sends a Wells notice to another crypto company just days ahead of the election. And another investment firm has filed for an XRP Spot ETF. This is a spit in the face of Gary Gensler. And one of the largest banks in the world is tokenizing on Ethereum. I'll share the details with you. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as a thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, I want to highlight something here. This past week, we saw record-breaking buying of the Bitcoin ETF, especially from BlackRock. Well, Matt Hogan of Bitwise Asset Management highlighted the following. He said, here are the total net flows since inception of the largest gold and Bitcoin ETFs. For gold, he highlighted $20.9 billion. It was launched in November 2004. Now, just BlackRock's IBIT Bitcoin ETF, $25.8 billion. It was just launched in January of this year, 2024, obviously. Not even a year has passed and it has blown past gold's number. Guys, we are seeing record-breaking demand for these ETFs, and it shows this asset class is here to stay. People recognize it's the future, and it's blowing all the ETF records out of the water. The guys who have been in the ETF business for a long time, like Matt and others, they are blown away by this. It's incredible, folks. This is why I'm so bullish. Despite the volatility we're seeing right now in the market, guys, there's just incredible demand. And here's another example. Florida's chief financial officer says the state holds over $800 million in crypto-related investments. What we've been seeing is since the ETFs have been introduced, many of these states and local governments across the US are finding it easy to buy the ETFs and diversify into Bitcoin and crypto because the ETFs reduce the risk. It makes it safer. It makes it easier for them. We've been hearing about state pension funds, endowments, and much more buying up the Bitcoin ETFs, guys. It's incredible what's happening. And it's what we've been talking about. If you have BlackRock, the world's wealthiest asset manager, launching these products, getting involved, it gives confidence to people to start investing in it. So we've crossed the chasm, guys. Crypto has gone mainstream. It's become ubiquitous, like I've been saying. It's in politics, TradFi, pop culture, society, right? People are waking up to what's happening here. And you and I are the early adopters. We've been here for years, buying the bloody bear market, buying the dips, and being patient. And speaking of being patient, the market right now is really volatile, right? Bitcoin is retesting some support levels, but the higher highs and higher lows have not been invalidated with this move out of this accumulation boring zone. So Bitcoin pulling back to below 70K, but as you can see here, still holding support levels, still forming a higher low. Now, I've been telling you guys there's going to be a lot of volatility as it heads up to the election, and the election uncertainty needs to be cleared out the way for the markets to blast off. We've seen this historically. Right now, people are not focused on investing. They're focused on politics, who's going to be the president and yada, yada, right? So once it's out of the way, it's cleared out, we're going to see the markets move. So I'm excited for next week for the election to be over. But things are moving in the right direction. Here, one analyst highlighted that Bitcoin is forming a massive cup and handle on its chart here. This is the 1-week chart, and it's looking very bullish. And he said the target is $123,000. Now, I hope Bitcoin goes higher, because I hold Bitcoin, but also it will allow more liquidity to flow down to the altcoins. So I think it will, but the question is how high. That's hard to predict, right? But guys, I think we can definitely book it that Bitcoin's going to crack $100,000 this cycle. Now, I always want to caveat that by saying we're talking probabilities, not guarantees or certainties, because no one has a crystal ball. But based on the data, based on the charts, the macro, and so forth, we can form a thesis. Moving ahead, guys, this is interesting. Argentina's central bank becomes the first financial institution to host a live Bitcoin mining exhibit. How times have changed. You got a central bank displaying Bitcoin mining. That is fascinating to me, guys. And once again, crypto becoming ubiquitous, it is everywhere now. And I believe central banks will hold Bitcoin in the future. I don't think it happens overnight. But if you have Wall Street embracing Bitcoin and hoarding it, and then you have presidential candidates like Donald Trump and even people in the Senate like Senator Cynthia Lummis proposing that the United States use Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset, you see the direction we're headed in, right? It will take time. It won't happen overnight. Like I said, we're headed to the full embrace of this technology and asset class. It's pretty amazing. Now, speaking of Donald Trump, yesterday was Bitcoin's 16th anniversary, and the man tweeted out, "I would like to wish our great Bitcoiners a happy 16th anniversary of Satoshi's white paper. We will end Kamala's war, and crypto and Bitcoin will be made in the US. Vote Trump." Now, he made it political. Obviously, he's been campaigning on crypto, but for those of you who don't like Donald Trump, whether you love or hate him, don't get blinded by the person himself, but the fact that this is a former president and a current presidential candidate is tweeting about Bitcoin and crypto. Look at where we've come from and look at where we're at, guys. It's amazing. This is why I'm bullish. Once again, it doesn't matter if you hate Donald Trump or you're voting for Kamala Harris. That's your business. But I don't want you to miss how significant this is. If you put your political bias aside, right, that we are seeing a full embrace of crypto. It's amazing what's happening. Now, check this news out. 21 Shares looks to secure SEC approval for XRP ETF amid growing interest in other crypto funds. So, guys, this makes 3 filers for XRP Spot ETFs. So they filed an S1 registration statement with the SEC today. Incredible. This is a spit in the face of scumbag, dirty Gary Gensler, because despite the ongoing litigation between Ripple and the SEC, the judge declared that XRP intrinsically is not a security. And I think these firms recognize that Gary's last days are here. He's going to be kicked out of office regardless of if Trump or Harris wins. Now, it's not 100% guaranteed if Harris wins that she's going to kick him out, but we know for sure if Donald Trump wins, they're going to kick him out. And I think, like I said, these companies, this is kind of like a call option. They're anticipating him getting kicked out. So it's pretty amazing. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse tweeted out about it. He said, "The message from the market is clear. Institutional interest in XRP products is stronger than ever. Bitwise, Canary Funds, and 21 Shares have filed for their S1s. He highlighted that Grayscale relaunched their XRP trust, but they haven't filed for an XRP Spot ETF yet. Now, I will be interviewing the head of research at Grayscale next week. I'm going to ask the question, when XRP Spot ETF filing, and of course, many other questions. So make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell turned on, guys. Now, check this bullish news out. Guys, I am blown away by the number of banks, financial institutions, global powerhouses that are getting involved in crypto. So UBS Asset Management launches its first tokenized investment fund. This first fund, a money market investment built on Ethereum distributed ledger technology, will be available through authorized distribution partners. Guys, do you see what's happening? And the majority of the masses are missing things like this. They're going about watching their TV shows and Netflix and caught up with politics. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to watch TV shows. It's okay to vote and do what you got to do. But financial education is so important. If you're trying to get more freedom for yourself, now, if you're already a billionaire and you don't care, then that's fine. But a majority of people are looking for ways to get out of poverty, improve their financial situation with the economy the way it is, and they're missing the opportunity of a lifetime. They would rather watch a Netflix show than be researching and learning about what's happening, guys. And this is incredible. Don't miss how big this is. The largest institutions, stock markets, banks, and much more are getting involved. They're launching financial products. They're tokenizing. They're testing. They're using stable coins. It's amazing. So UBS Asset Management today announces the launch of UBS USD Money Market Investment Fund Token, UMINT, a money market investment built on Ethereum. Here's a quote: "We are seeing growing investor appetite for tokenized financial assets across asset classes. Through leveraging our global capabilities and collaborating with peers and regulators, we can now provide clients with an innovative solution." This comes from Thomas Kagi, co-head of the UBS Asset Management APAC. Guys, when I see stuff like this, it makes me so bullish. And I wish other people were paying attention. But you know what's going to happen? As I've talked about many times, Those who are not financially educated, they end up FOMOing in and coming in at the top, and they get categorized into the dumb money crowd. Don't be dumb money, be smart money, research, buy the lows, take your position, and be patient. You guys know how it works. A great place where you can buy Ethereum and altcoins and Bitcoin is on Uphold. It's a platform I've been using since 2018. They have 300 plus cryptocurrencies. They're available in over 150 countries, guys. And best of all, they are safe and trustworthy. Once again, I've been using them for many years. I've interviewed their CFO, their CEO, and they are 100% reserved. They don't commingle or lend out your crypto funds. And they have a transparency report that you can review. So it's really easy to use Uphold. They have a great app, great platform, and much more. If you'd like to learn more about Uphold, visit the link in the description. Now, dirty scumbag regulator Gary Gensler is up to his tricks again. They have sent a Wells notice to Immutable. Now, you may say, who the hell is Immutable? Well, they are a leading platform for building Web3 games on Ethereum. So, Gensler, even a days ahead of the election, is still doing this nonsense. This guy has to be kicked out. It's pathetic. And I'm not even going to read through all of it, guys, because you know what it is. Gary making up crap in sending Wells notices. And usually when you get a Wells notice, it means a lawsuit is most likely going to follow. Here's what Kristen Smith of the Blockchain Association said. The SEC's regulation by enforcement campaign under SEC Chair Gary Gensler isn't slowing down. The most recent target, Immutable, received a Wells notice within hours of engaging with the SEC, the latest in a long line of American crypto companies under assault by the agency. Fortunately, like so many other companies in our industry, Immutable plans to fight these allegations. The significant downside is that their defense will add to the ever-growing amount of legal expenses wasted fighting SEC overreach. So the Blockchain Association actually launched a website tracking this, the amount of money being spent in legal fees to fight the SEC, and it's over $430 million. Now, they said this number is actually conservative because they don't have the entire industry submitting all the information, only the members of the Blockchain Association. So you can imagine those who have been fighting who are not part of the association and the amount of legal fees they've had to put out. Even Ripple just alone had to spend $100 million. And not to mention the waste of taxpayer money that, that the SEC is using. And many of these lawsuits are unlawful. So this is why I call Gary Gensler a scumbag regulator. And the fact that he's doing this just days ahead of the election, this guy's got to get kicked out, man. One thing we've been seeing, though, is that the crypto industry is spending a lot of money in this election cycle. So as some folks have reported, the upcoming Congress will be the most pro-crypto, and a lot of the anti-crypto army people are losing the elections, and they're probably pretty pissed off at Elizabeth Warren for, doing this nonsense, forming the anti-crypto army and campaigning on that. And remember, John Deaton is running against Elizabeth Warren. If you are in the state of Massachusetts, do yourself a favor and vote John Deaton, kick out Warren. And if you're outside the state of Massachusetts, donate to John Deaton, guys. So the SEC continues their nonsense. But it's not just the SEC. We know that Elizabeth Warren has her cronies in different parts of the government in different agencies, such as the Treasury, the Fed, and so forth. Paul Grewal, Chief Legal Officer at Coinbase, gave an update here of the lawsuit they filed against the FDIC over a FOIA request. And they're starting to get information, and it's giving confirmation that there was indeed a Operation Chokepoint 2.0 agenda. Paul says, slowly but surely, the picture is becoming clearer. After we sued, the FDIC finally started giving us information related to our FOIA requests about the pause letters it sent to financial institutions as part of Operation Chokepoint 2.0. In short, the contents are a shameful example of a government agency trying to cut off financial access to law-abiding American companies. So far, we've uncovered more than 20 examples of the FDIC telling banks to pause or refrain from providing or not proceed with offering crypto banking services. The public deserves transparency, not an agency that's working behind a bureaucratic curtain. We don't have the full letters yet, but what we've seen so far speaks volumes. Take a look for yourself. In the meantime, we'll keep pushing to get the clarity from our regulators through FOIA requests and any other means necessary. So it takes a lawsuit to get stuff. They don't even respond to FOIA requests, which is the Freedom of Information Act. It's pathetic. The SEC does the same thing. They're just blocking it. I know there's a larger problem here. These government agencies have become rogue. They've gotten too powerful, right? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So we need to take these people to the courts, and that's where we're getting our victories because the checks and balances is working out here. And that's the great thing about the United States and how we have our government set up. It's not perfect, but at least we can get things done here and we can expose Elizabeth Warren and her cronies and scumbags like Gary Gensler. All right, moving ahead, guys. Crypto.com announces acquisition of SEC registered broker dealer Watchdog Capital LLC. So we continue to see many of these crypto companies are doing mergers, acquisitions, expanding, trying to build their businesses globally. And it's a race. It's an arms race right now. And it's pretty amazing to watch it happen. And, recently we had the biggest acquisition in the crypto industry where Stripe bought Bridge, a stablecoin infrastructure company, for over $1 billion. That's pretty incredible. So Crypto.com is trying to expand its services here. So this is pretty cool. Paxos launches a new USD stablecoin with Singapore's DBS Bank. So Paxos helps different folks to launch stablecoins. They help PayPal to launch their PYUSD. I'll be interviewing the CEO of Paxos again very soon, Charles Cascarilla. I interviewed him years ago, so I'll get you guys as much updates around these things. But pretty incredible. So it says here the new stablecoin will be compliant with Singapore's regulatory framework. So we're seeing legislation, not banning, but legislation embracing the technology, putting the guardrails in place to protect consumers, but also foster innovation. If only we can get that in the United States. And I think we will. There's more bipartisan support now, Democrats and Republicans working in Congress to get legislation through. Now, guys, Tether continues to make epic revenue and profit. So Tether registers $2.5 billion in net profit for Q3, bringing year-to-date total to $7.7 billion. This is huge. And this is why you can imagine there's a lot of competitors who want to take Tether down. There's the Wall Street crowd who wants to take Tether down. You think Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, these guys like this? They want that money. They used to make that money. Now it's leaving their funds, right? But that's why they're embracing crypto and trying to catch up. It's incredible the paradigm shift that's taking place here. But I mean, this is crazy profit. This is not even just revenue. This is profit. Imagine making billions in a quarter in profit. This is nuts, man. And look, everybody's going to try to come for a slice of this pie, right? That's why you have so many stablecoins being launched. Solana launched a stablecoin recently. Ripple's going to launch one. Obviously, PayPal has one. And obviously, USDC is right on the tail of Tether. They want to take them down for sure. But incredible stuff, folks. Just really think about this. A stablecoin issuer, the largest in the world, made 2.5 billion in profit in one quarter and bringing the total for the year to over 7 billion. Can you imagine what their cash reserves look like? Man, it's crazy. Paolo Ardoino, CEO of Tether, highlighted that Tether has announced they're launching a dirham-pegged stablecoin on the Ton blockchain. So they continue to build and expand. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy around Tether and what stablecoin legislation here in the United States may do to Tether. They may lose market share here. We don't know yet. But in the EU, Tether got kicked out from many exchanges. So let's see what happens. They are global, so even if they get kicked out of the United States, they are established globally, guys. So they are making a ton of money, and they are still the number one. So over time, I believe they're going to lose market share, but incredible stuff if you really think about it. Folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Be sure to sign up for my free email newsletter. It's 100% free on Substack. Has a lot of crypto insights and knowledge. A great way you can support me is by buying a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto, on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. Buy a copy for yourself and your friends and family. Give it as a gift this holiday. And if you bought a copy already, please leave a rating and review. It will really help me out. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.